This is the last exercise of this lesson. So after you practice this second part, we will start on a new lesson. Be sure you review everything and play everything slowly again, and go back to other lessons periodically to review. If you have any problems in this lesson, maybe it means that you should be reviewing some of the previous lessons. In this lesson, we will start on page 42, dotted 8th and 16th notes. It's a good thing to review 16th note first. Remember, 16th note, we'll take the note G as it has on the first exercise 1, but let's just play quarter notes first. Right, 8th notes. 16th. Notice I'm still doing rest strokes, so I know where my pick is. I'm not doing this. In fact, I'm not doing it because I will miss the note. Rest strokes. I'm doing rest strokes. So now, let's review what we know about a dot after a note. Remember, we said that a dot after a note adds to that note another half value of that note. In other words, let's not talk abstractly, let's talk about specific. A dotted half note means that we have 2 beats plus half of that 1 beat, so that note would get 3 beats. A dotted quarter note would be 1 beat plus half of that, a half a beat, which would be a beat and a half. A dotted eighth would be a half a beat plus a half of that, which would be like a 16th note, a quarter of a beat, so it would be 3/4 of a beat. So if we're doing 16th notes, 8th notes, dotted eighth, 16th, dotted eighth. Practice this by just turning the metronome on and going back and forth between 16th note, 8th note, dotted eighth to a 16th note. 8th note. I'll play exercise 1 now. Exercise 1 consists of those 16th notes, dotted eighth going to a 16th, and a few 8th notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, 3, 4. If you're having problems counting that, you could actually count it twice as fast and make them 8th notes going to dotted quarter notes like this. First it was 1, 2, 3, 4. You could do 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you could count it half as fast. 1, 2, and so on. Let me play you now exercise 2. Notice it says slowly on each of these exercises. You need to count it slowly so that you can concentrate on playing the 16th notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. The second beat of the first measure is actually opposite of what we were playing before. We were playing a dotted eighth and 16th. This is a 16th to a dotted eighth, so it's 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So also in the last measure we have the B. We have that rhythm, 2 16th notes and an eighth. Then we have 16th, 8th, 16th. So that goes, those two beats are 1, 2, 3, 4. The whole measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, if you're having problems counting and subdividing the beat, we could double the time, play twice as fast, and count the 16th notes as 8th notes instead of 1, 2, 3, 4. We can do 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the next exercise that we have is something that it's an illustration on how people play lines with a swing rhythm. I'll read this to you and then I'll explain my take on it. Note that the above strict or legitimate interpretation of dotted 8th and 16th notes produces a rather jerky rhythm. And I agree with that. In pop music and jazz, they are played more legato, smoothly, in a flowing manner. I would call it more relaxed. This is done by treating them as triplets. So instead of playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, that's how we were playing it. And now I will play the G as triplets. This gives the so-called swing feel that we feel. It's a more, shall I call it, more relaxed way of playing the dotted 8th, 16th. So let me play exercise 3 and you'll hear it better. 1, 2, 3, 4. I will play it at strict dotted 8th, 16th, the last line. This is a way to get the swing feel of eighth notes that happens in a number of swing tunes. So we have something sounding like straight eighth notes, swing feel. We will come across this feel a number of times in this book, and we'll be going over that again.